We're back in New Nottingham for another exciting, and by exciting, I mean cringeworthy and embarrassing to episode of Robyn in the Hood. This week, Robyn steals from people who actually work for a living to give to lazy people who don't work for a living. I wonder if my prediction's going to be correct. Of course it bloody is. It's Robyn Hood! Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. The king of cringe is here for your favorite time of the week. And of course, I mean your daily dose of WTF. So, without further ado... What's up, baby? I don't know if you can hear, but Belle's meowing at me. What do you want? Sorry, she's summoning me. I'll be back. Belle literally called me downstairs to open the front door for her so she could go outside. Cats. We are but their meager slaves.
Talk to me.
There's nothing to talk about.
The mighty Hood! So we start off with the obligatory sponsorship from Axe. You too can stink as bad as this show does.
Masked robbers who rap about their crimes. It's just sexy.
Wait, what? This guy, you want me to believe that Whitey McWhitebread here is like, oh my god, robbers that rap about their crimes are so sexy? Yeah, I'm gonna press Director X to doubt on that one, buddy. So John Prince, who by the way is the hero of this story by a country mile, is having a benefit for something, don't know what, don't care. And his son rolls in late. He's not dressed very nicely at all. He just gets on his mobile phone. And his dad is really disappointed in him. I can understand. He has a lot of influential people here who are trying to raise the value of New Nottingham because a bunch of jobless bums are inhabiting Sherwood and Forest. And so he takes the phone off him and says, play something on the piano so that all that education I spent on you doesn't go to waste. So the son's like, oh God, whatever. I don't know if they're trying to portray the son as sympathetic when he's actually just pathetic. He goes to the piano and starts doing and it segues into the new song from the Hood that the kid's been listening to. Oh my god. And good news, everyone. It's just as obnoxious and dog shit as all the others. But the best thing is, the music director, the legend that is Director X, has the worst audio quality on the song that you can't actually understand a fucking word that she's saying.
Yeah, we really about that life. The hood coming in like the thief in the night.
What are you even saying? Actually, I don't want to know. Probably has something to do with stealing somebody else's shit that doesn't belong to you and giving it to people that don't work for... Anyway, let's move on. So the mayor and the chief of police are big mad that somebody recorded a song and uploaded it to YouTube. Not even joking. But... they should see the Taylor Swift channel. Holy shit. Also, Sexy McYatsyface gets told off by the mayor because apparently all the drones that have been destroyed in the first 3 episodes have cost the taxpayer hundreds of thousands of dollars. No, do not come. Do not come. I'm gonna call. Do you know what she needs to do? She needs to smile more. And just when you can't be in love anymore, the chief of police is having breakfast with John Prince, and she says, Sherwood is the root of the problem. It's like hunting rats. And I'm like, yes, jobless bum rats who steal from people who actually work hard for a living and give to themselves the jobless scum that they actually are. Holy shit. Actually, I'm beginning to think the show might be just, you know, secretly based AF. But then I remember that Director X made it and he's a complete P. So the chief of police is also wearing a hair down and I just want to bend her over the table and grab it. Anyway, she's given her backstory and she actually used to live in a very rough part of New Nottingham and she was actually dumped in a dumpster when she was a child and they found her and she was raised in an orphanage. So this woman has come from exceedingly difficult circumstances, no parents, no family, raised in an orphanage and managed to rise to the chief of police. Director X, she's a fucking success story. Everyone that you're trying to portray as a villain actually has relatively noble ideals, whereas the people who you are trying to push as the good guys are jobless, lazy bums who steal from people who have earned something and give to themselves and their family and their community of other jobless bums. I think your morality is so skewed, it's off the charts. Go have an interview with another disco ball. So the gorgeously stunning chief of police with the beautiful red hair who when she wears it down is probably the most angelic creature I've ever... Hold on. There is a police helicopter flying over my house. Has the Hood Gang done another crime or something? Anywho, this gorgeous creature has now become the most sympathetic character in the show. And according to you, she's a villain. And the best part of this is she says, I bet you think I'm just gutter trash now. And John Prince looks at her with eyes that say, no, I actually think you're a remarkable woman to take yourself from there and to elevate yourself to where you are now. It's as if you, oh, I don't know, worked hard to get there. And he looks at her and he says, oh, no, not at all. These are the two heroes of your show, Director X. There is no denying that whatsoever. Also, I just found the thumbnail for the video. And a police car with its sirens has just gone past my door. And I live in the middle of nowhere. So I think the Hood Gang are definitely afoot in this area. She then goes on to tell a story about how when she was in the orphanage, they used to get meatloaf 5 times a week. And a fat cow used to steal her meatloaf every day. Gravy and all, she says. And she had barely anything to survive off. And then suddenly the fat cow gets sick, starts having blackouts, starts having seizures, and then she eventually passes away. And everyone in the orphanage says, that was God. That was God smiting down this fat, horrible cow who would steal people's food so they would starve. And then she says, well, you can't taste rat poison in gravy. And that was because she had clearly poisoned the food because she knew that the fat cow was going to steal it. I'm kind of still feeling sympathetic towards her because she thought it was a literal her or them situation and had to do something about it if she was to survive. I understand the motivation even if the deed was a bit naughty. It wasn't driven by a sense of evil, it was driven by a sense of survival, which is complete and utterly different. Meanwhile, we've got a bunch of lazy bums at Sherwood and Forest that are eking out money, which I can only imagine from welfare, that don't go to jobs and have fucking cookie jars which get regularly topped up with condoms because they're fucking everything under the sun and eating like kings. The woman kings, of course. So how are we still not meant to sympathize with this girl who has nothing, that was dumped into a fucking trash can as a child, that literally had to fight for her survival growing up. I shit ye not. At the recording of this segment, this video is now longer than the actual show. And the show also had a previously on. So their plan to get Sherwood and Forest is to close down stores. I think they already are. Is to stop people from working. They already are. To create food and water shortages so that the town, the city of New Nottingham, beg for them to take Sherwood and Forest off their hands. And they actually say, we'll make them the bad guys. Sunshine, they already are the bad guys. You're just trying to push things along a bit more expeditious. You could be the man that saves Sherwood from itself. And I'm just like, holy shit. He's absolutely right. Sherwood and Forest is the fucking Mos Eisley of New Nottingham. There never before has been such a hive of scum and villainy. Because they're too busy fucking pushing drugs and stealing and wondering if when they leave their houses, they're ever gonna fucking come back alive. Our hero here wants to change that, wants to make things better. And you can't make an omelette without breaking some eggs. John Prince, 2024. All day, every day, baby. Last week, Robyn's mum was really upset and depressed because she was in a wheelchair. She even fell out of it carrying a tray of cookies. Don't ask. I laughed my dick off. It was hilarious. But then by the end of the episode, she was all happy and smiles and everything's a-okay. This week, she's not a-okay and she's very sad and taking drugs and all that sort of stuff. I mean, painkillers, not, you know, the drugs that Much smokes in the last episode. Maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't try and wrap up things like that in a bow in one episode. Maybe, just maybe, you let those stories play out a little bit. That way, they make a little bit more sense when you want to do something a little bit more heartfelt, emotional. And after a fall last week holding a tray of cookies, I fear that the cookie jar may never be restored to its former full of condom glory. Because they're all whore! Then, in a really unfortunate the mum wheels herself into the kitchen and says to her daughters, I just want to get back at it. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you don't have a job because we haven't seen you do anything but trespass. Does getting back at it mean the cookie jar? Because you're all... And just before this randy paraplegic can get back to riding the cookie jar train, she says to Robyn some straight facts that the Hood, in their effort to protect Sherwood and Forest, have actually caused bigger problems with gangsters and the police and John Prince, and are just causing more trouble that's going to allow the city to actually start to do something, which is going to allow John Prince to buy these dilapidated pieces of shit and turn them into something actually of worth and value. Yes, that's his crime, people. He wants to rejuvenate this area that's crime-ridden and full of jobless bums. Did I mention that? I think I might have mentioned that once or twice during every fucking review.
They make music.
They make trouble.
Sorry?
There's some serendipity in the diversity of the show. It's an all-black cast. That's not how it was written. The actors that came in for the role were just the best ones for it.
They make music.
Stop it! Stop lying! Stop it! Take some responsibility! Go speak to your disco ball friend. Say, I take responsibility. Go make a black and white video and start singing Imagine, Director X. Horse fucking shit! They were the best people for the job. Mitch McConnell, when the batteries are flat. I've seen more energy from a Japanese prisoner of war. So Robyn is walking down the street not working a job. And she comes across an old man and he's like, oh no. And she says, what's up, old man? And he says, my heart medication was $30 last week, which seems awfully cheap from Canada, but there you go. And now it's been raised to $150. Dude, you're talking about Canadian healthcare. You're lucky they haven't fucking killed you. So the woman who works at the pharmacy says, there's nothing I can do. This is what they've done. And so the old man says, I'll take my business elsewhere. Okay, do that. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Just take your business elsewhere. However, he's told that wherever you go, whichever pharmacy, they're all charging the same price now directly from the manufacturer, and then sticks up this notice, effective immediately. Security surcharge in effect due to criminal activity in the Sherwood and Forest community. And that's spot on, because they stole from people who actually earn their money to give to this block of flats where people don't earn their money. And you thought there wasn't going to be any consequences? When a show is as ill thought out as this show is, you back yourself into these corners where you think you're being oppressed because you're an intersectional twat waffle, when in reality, you're actually getting the comeuppance that you actually deserve. And the Hood's criminal behavior has actually caused suffering within the community to innocent people. Selfish, self-centered, narcissistical, intersectional twat waffles. That's what they are. Posting music videos of their crimes and just thinking about views and subscribers when they're just thieves. Dirty, rotten, scummy thieves. But because the show is so comically bad, Robyn just walks into Much's apartment and says, quick, turn on the news. And they turn on the news, and coincidentally enough, the pharmacy guy is speaking about pharmacy because they need plot about pharmacy. By the way, Little John's not wearing his top, and Robyn's looking at him like the prime piece of beef that he actually is. But don't worry, I'm sure she'll be fucking scissoring with Maid Marian by the end of this series. And once again, because the show's got no self-awareness whatsoever, the bad guy says the right thing. As long as the Hood are active in Sherwood and Forest, then the area is not safe. And he's absolutely right. Remember, the mum, before she was shot down in a blaze of glory, said when her daughter was leaving, be safe out there because that area is so scummy, they're shooting each other. They should do what this guy says. Somebody grass them up, get paid, get them out of there, and maybe, just maybe, you can salvage some of that area. Take the payday from John Prince, who's trying to rejuvenate the area. Go live your criminal fucking lifestyle elsewhere and let good people live in good places in good solid communities. Oh no, Drex told a disco ball that it's all racism and shit. Please, let me onto your show. Give me some exposure. Please, I'm fucking dying out here. Then the Hood are big mad because there's actually some consequences to their actions. And if there's one thing that an intersectional twat waffle hates more than anything, it's actual consequences for their own actions. So the reaction from the Sherwood and Forest community is to commit more crime, as this lady recommends that they occupy the pharmacy. No, sweetheart, that's called criminal trespass, bitch! I hate the residents of Sherwood and Forest. So why aren't any of you at work? Doesn't anyone have a job in this place? Are the mechanics the only fucking people that work for a living? Get off your ass, earn some money, then you can pay for the medication. Not the old guy, he's retired. He's probably done a hard life of work. He's probably the hardest working person in this goddamn fucking room, and he's retired. Now, forgive me here, everybody, but I'm going to insert my own dialogue and story into this show right now. I'm imagining that the two sisters, who, by the way, have two different fathers, because Director X loves nothing more than to perpetuate bad black stereotypes as we've seen throughout all the episodes, but never mind. I think they're looking at their mother and they're saying, my God, she's still within working age and in the prime of her life, and yet she doesn't have a fucking job because she's a lazy cow. She's a matriarch that does nothing whatsoever apart from fill up a cookie jar because we're all whore. And also, shit on our fathers. Jesus Christ. Why can't this cow get off her lazy fucking ass and get a job? Get a job, DSP. Get a job.
I need that money. I really do. I need that money to pay my bills, the electric bill, the internet bill.
Holy cow. I've just had an epiphany. DSP works harder than any of this fucking bunch of losers. And he's a panhandling beggar. Oh my God. We are so beyond clown world. We're in the clown multiverse now. Probably the person who's worked the hardest in the room ever, probably combined, put everyone together combined, work more than they have, starts talking about, we know whose fault it is. It's the hood's fault. But of course, even though the mother just moments ago had been saying to Robyn that it's the hood's fault, she now turns and shakes her head. How dare this person of white say anything bad against those heroic criminals in our diverse and inclusive fucking shit blocks where everyone's scared to go out their front doors and nobody's got a job and everyone's tea leafing and fucking smoking drugs. This is a great neighborhood. So Robyn's mum says, this is Sherwood. We don't give each other up here. And then the old man says, well, I've got 3 days left of heart medication. And when that runs out, my life runs out. So Robyn's mum does the decent thing here. She pretends to pass out. Oh, thank God that got me out of this conversation. I was getting absolutely screwed. So they give her some water, and then two very bad actresses act very badly. I wonder if the solution to this problem is going to be the hood committing more crime to compensate for the consequences of their crime-ridden actions so far. I wonder. Yeah, probably. Let's just be honest. Most likely. I've got toothpaste on my top, and it looks like I jizzed on it. So they put more... I'm sorry. I know what I'm going to say next. So they put Robyn's mum in bed, probably the place that she's the most comfortable. She's a hot. Sorry. I have descended into madness here because both Robyn and Little John were in the room when Little John put her mum in the bed, tucked her in, looked at Robyn. They both left the room together. They walk into the corridor, and Little John says to Robyn, she's resting. No shit, Sherlock. You want to go down to the police precinct and apply as a job as the greatest fucking detective in the world with deductioning fucking skills like that? Holy shit. Writing. Oh my God. Oscar stuff. Oscar level. Oh, and no sooner have I just made my prophetic guess about what they're going to do than Little John says to Robyn, she's on painkillers. She's on antidepressants. She's on blood thinners. She can't go long without them. We probably need to steal more. Yay! Once again, stealing to benefit themselves or their own families. Little John wants to get inside Robyn's cookie jar. And of course, Robyn wants to help her mum get the medication she needs because she's been paralyzed due to the consequences of her criminal activities. This is such a great reimagining of the Robin Hood mythos, Director X. Yes, well done. I don't think you understand a single fucking solitary thing about Robin Hood whatsoever. Be gay, do crime. So we go to the pharmaceutical company where the boss man who was on TV is taking the blood of some pro-level athlete as she's sat right next to him because it makes him feel rejuvenated and good. You know, that thing that's going on. And then there's a bunch of... There's a bunch of window lickers down in the pit. And they have been given a formula which has been taken from some toad in the jungle, which is 3 times more potent than LSD. And the pharmaceutical guy wants to patent it and sell it as an antidepressant. And based off what I've seen from the people in Sherwood at the moment, this is all that I can think of.
Acceptable losses in the battle to save the planet.
I don't care. I don't care. Wipe them all out. Get rid of them. The vermin. The vermin.
You've got some kinks to work up.
Dude, I'll buy 1,000,000 shares. I'll match what Prince is doing. I want in. I want in on this. I want in all of it. All of it. I want in on it. It's been 4 episodes. 4 episodes. And Robyn is delivering her second parcel. Hold on, sweetheart. You need to sit down. You don't want to overexert yourself now, do you? You must have worked up quite a sweat. And it didn't involve the cookie jar, you massive Then Robyn has a moment of revelation and says, I put my mum in this spot, which is absolutely correct. And then little John, who wants to get inside your cookie jar, says, it's not your fault, which is absolute bullshit. Maybe you're slightly right. It's everybody's fault. Then Little John really goes deep with the spade work. If you don't know what spade work is, look up Australian slang. And he's just like, no, it's Prince and Mr. Pharmaceutical Man that's causing all the problems, not you. It's not you at all. It is her. It is her. Take some responsibility. Well, there again, nobody in this show takes responsibility, which is true to form, because Director X doesn't want to take responsibility for this piece of dog shit. He just wants to call everybody racist and incels and shit like that, because he's a coward. Then Little John wants to ask Robyn what flavor her cookies are, but then he backs out because he's a massive pussy. So once more, the writers don't understand tone. They don't understand where to place humor because, surprise, surprise, they're formulating their plan to break into the pharmaceutical company to steal the medication that people need and take it away. And then Alan, who's probably never seen a fucking pussy outside of a kitty cat in his life, says, well, we better get it right. We don't want to drive out with a van full of Viagra. I laughed, and by laughed, I mean fucking rolled my eyes to the back of my head. And then Little John says, well, some people might be happy about that. Bitch, shut your fucking mouth. Shut your fucking mouth. You can't even ask that woman out, you fucking pussy. You're a massive pussy. If you want to fucking make jokes about Viagra, you want to be fucking tapping that ass! Shut up! Yeah, it's that shipment of Viagra coming in. Yeah, I need it, dude. Yeah, I've been under a lot of stress recently, you know how it is. Yeah, it's not like I have this on a regular basis, but, you know, things are a bit weird right now. Yeah, okay. Oh, fucking hell, the camera and microphone's on. Bye. Then the junkie, Friar Tuck, says that there's no way that he can hack the pharmaceutical system because you have to be on the premises to do so. So Much recommends tagging onto a hotspot, and he says, quite correctly, then I'll slide in the back door, which is the correct terminology to use, even if it doesn't actually make any sense, because if it's the computer system, why would there be a hotspot connected to the computer? Oh, whatever. But these children then start laughing because it's an anal sex joke. They really don't have any understanding of humor and where to place it. I think every attempt at humor in this show has been around penetrating an orifice. Remember a couple of episodes ago? Of course you... What am I saying? Of course you don't. You're not watching this. Nobody's watching this. It's me. They were talking about Robyn's paraplegic mum, and Little John said she got fisted, to which they all suddenly started laughing because of a fisting joke. And then when you look at the morality that they have, I'm pretty convinced that every one of these people is a raging sociopath. Then Robyn says, can we do this? And Friar Tuck is like, well, no. And then Much just says, yeah, I can magic up a complete piece of bullshit so we can advance the plot. Let's go to the next scene. Eek. I'm fucking losing the will to live right now. I am. What the fuck? What the fuck am I watching? So we go to the police chief's office and she brings in the sergeant who shot Robyn's mum. And then she says, I'm bringing you on special duty. You're going to be attached to me. Whatever I say, you're going to do. And he's just like, I was cleared of all charges. And she went, do you think that was easy to do that? Then she gets up. She goes up to him, gets right in his face. And it's just like, I own you. I own every bit of you. You think you're a big, tough man. No, you're not. You just... I can't even keep a straight face. You just want somebody to tell you what to do, to put you on a leash and drag you around. And then he tries to kiss her. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, get down on all fours. And he just gets down on all fours. I'm like, fucking you freaks. What is wrong with you? This is meant to be Robin Hood, not some fucking deviant sex dungeon. So Robyn's little sister, half sister, different dad, obviously, goes into her mum's bedroom to check on her. And her mum is sat up writing on some papers which look like they could be bills. And the daughter says, Mum, what are you doing? Work? And I'm just thinking to myself, this bitch doesn't work. She doesn't work. We haven't seen anything about a job in 4 episodes. Nothing. But apparently writing on a couple of bits of paper means doing hard work. So the daughter becomes concerned. And I don't give a shit. But it's nice to know that writing on paper in Sherwood and Forest constitutes as strenuous work. This I can believe. Oh God. So the daughter says, I'm worried that you're writing on paper. This is crazy. It's insane. And I'm just like, probably is for these reprobates. And then the mother says to her, Jill Scarlett, you ought to be crazy talking to your mum like that. And I'm like, oh my God, her surname's Scarlett. So instead of Will Scarlett, it's Jill Scarlett. And I'm just like, oh, shut the So Much uses her place of work to not do work, which is true to form in this show, to make her bullshit device, whatever. And then we get... we get Much's backstory. Why is Much the way she is? Well, when she was at school, she was tasked with making some door hinges as a project. And she thought, this is rubbish. I'm going to flex. I'm going to make an amp instead. And the school thought it was a bomb. They thought it was a bomb, and so she got expelled. Oh, well, that beats the police chief's dumpster baby story, doesn't it? And it's got all sad music and shit, and I'm just like, shut up! Like all 2,000 IQ criminals, they think stealing a truck in the daytime is a good idea and gives them the best chance of not being seen, particularly when you're dressed up like fucking cartoon animals. Also, this runs the risk, of course, of this person losing their job, but they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about anyone but themselves. The good news is, though, they're white, so who gives a fuck? So they break in their Fortnite costumes, and Friar Tuck says, are you in? And she's like, yes, what am I looking for? And he says, look up. And if you look up, you will notice there is a security camera looking right at her. I guess nobody's manning the cameras. Just as well, this security guard just so happened to walk across this door, which just so happened to have a window in it, which he could just so happen to see her walking down the corridor where the security camera was pointing directly. Oh, God, fuck off, Director X. Officer Useless walks in on the chief of police and the sergeant's post-coital activities. And what I mean by that is she'd finished pegging him. Now, Robyn escapes the security guard by running into the ladies' changing rooms, where the next round of test subjects are being set up. so she changes into one of their gowns. Don't worry, that they're of their own volition and they will get paid afterwards. And also, if there are any side effects, don't feel sorry for them. Most of them have pink hair and are fucking obnoxious as hell. Anyway, the security guard comes in. They're all dressed in the gowns. So he's like, have you seen a fucking Fortnite player? And they say no. And he leaves. There is a blue patch which is placed on Robyn's wrist. And she says, what is this? And the woman next to her says, that's the drug that we're testing. And the woman who's putting the patches on says, we're going to give it a few minutes for the drug to start to get into your system. So Robyn, who's now armed with this information, slips out of the women's changing rooms, gets changed back into a costume, then goes into the corridor, which I imagine is a few doors down or so, and only then decides to remove the patch when she's starting to feel woozy-doozy. Because Robyn is a crack whore. So Robyn's now tripping balls, and she asks Friar Tuck to help her to install the portable hotspot they created. I now understand you want to plug it into the system to get into it, to then backdoor it, but you would have to have it directly into the servers, would you not? If you want to do that, not some just regular junk. Anyway, fucking probably thinking way too much about this. Way more than the writers ever did. High five, am I right? And the police arrive because, of course, the security guard who couldn't catch the girl in the Fortnite costume must have phoned it in or some shit. I don't care. I'm so close to the end of this video, I can taste it. So the chief of police says, describe them, and they said masks look like Fortnite players. Gotcha, hood gang. And so she says, everyone, fan out, block all the exits, nobody comes in, nobody leaves, weapons free. And the security guard quite rightly says, hey, do you want me to show you around? I know the layout. She says, no, we got it from here because we want to give them as best an opportunity to escape due to our incompetence as possible. Because the show is terribly written. As expected, incompetency ensues, and Robyn now starts to fully trip balls, where she has a premonition of her mum chopping up raw meat, saying that a storm is coming. Fucking hell, you should have watched the first 3 episodes. The evil police officers, they rip off the gas masks of the security guards who are telling them to get out and put them on themselves so they can pursue the hood gang. I love their determination because the security guards know the way out the door. It's right next to them. However, what about the rest of the people in the building? How far does this gas go? Are there people in the building trapped without gas masks who are now under the risk of being killed due to the hood gang? Add attempted murder, murder in the 3rd degree, manslaughter, pick one, anyone, onto their resume of crimes for them to steal stuff to compensate for the consequences of their own thievery and own law-breaking activities. These people are garbage. Absolute garbage. But they escape by putting their masks down, which makes the officers think that they've got them, but they haven't. And the officer poopy pants lady is very angry. And I'm just like, why? You've now got some evidence, and there's a very good chance that you can pull fingerprints from this, because let's face it, most of them are absolute criminals and their details will most likely be in the system. Robyn kisses little John, and I'm just thinking to myself, just you wait till Marion comes along. You're gonna get cocked, big guy. So the pharmaceutical woman comes around the corner, I imagine the next morning, and outside of the pharmacy, there is the pallet of drugs with this sign on it saying, Georgina, you take it from here, the hood. And I'm thinking to myself, what if Georgina just calls up the pharmaceutical company and says, oh yeah, I found all your drugs. They were dumped outside here by the hood. Or says, oh, okay, takes them into the pharmacy and then sells them for that 1,000% markup. Or just decides to sell them herself and make a truckload of money and get her the fuck out of Sherwood. Anyway, stupid cow, she goes around distributing the drugs to the relevant people. And I'm also thinking to myself, what if there's another lovely old man out there who now can't get his heart medication because the hood stole it and he dies. But I guess they never thought of that because they don't think about anything other than themselves. And Robyn goes up to her mum with a smug sense of satisfaction and says, oh, here you got your meds. I guess the hood did some good. And her mum says the right thing. Yeah, they cleaned up their own mess. What she failed to say, though, was they also created a whole new mess to go on top of it. Jesus Christ, look at the size of the cookie jar! That's full of fucking condoms! So Tuck calls Robyn and says, oh, while I was in the system, I took a load of their files, formulas, and I released them to the press. And now the press are grilling the CEO live on air while he's saying the right stuff. He's saying that these formulas were stolen, that they were in testing, that yes, we were using human subjects, but they were there of their own free will. They were being compensated for their time. They were aware of the side effects, and this is normal medical procedure. Back when I was at university, one of the things the university used to push to us was medical testing, because it was a good way to make people a lot of money. I didn't do it personally because I didn't want to wake up in Brazil with only one kidney. However, I did know a couple of people that did it a couple of times. Earned themselves a few grand. So the interviewer asks, what do you think the shareholders will think? And I'm thinking the shareholders are investing in a pharmaceutical company. What the hell do you think's going on there? Fucking Willy Wonka chocolate? No. They know exactly what's going on there. But the CEO gets inexplicably angry, swears, and storms off for no reason. He could easily deal with this in a calm manner. He can easily deal with this and say the right stuff that he was saying. But it's written by morons for people who they think are morons. And as we always say, you're only as smart as your writers. And they're dumb. For some spectacular reason, the masks, which they keep handling all the time, have no fingerprints or DNA on them, even though they've got plenty of skin contact. Whatever, it's all fucking garbage. And then Prince is mad that they've become local heroes. Haven't you been saying throughout all the episodes that Sherwood and Forest is a tight-knit community because they're all jobless bum thieves? Oh well. I give this episode of Robin Hood Stage 4 Cancer out of 10. And I'll see you guys next week for another trash cringe episode of this unmitigated garbage. Until then, you take care. Bye for now.